each time. I wish I'd turned the first one actually now, in the first one I did, into the drama special. Pretty much class that as a drama special. The Office is also a comedy, but class it as the drama special, and I'm also going to do a British one as well. But let's start off with the sitcom special. Basically, I just picked up random 4 sitcoms that are some of my favourites. They're all American, these ones. Let's start with Frasier. Frasier was always my favourite character on Cheers. And I got into Cheers first. I watched Cheers with my brother, and then I kept watching it on Comedy Central, not Comedy Central. But it's basically Comedy Central. They call it Paramount over here, but it's practically the same channel. And I thought Cheers was great, but for me, my favourite character was always Frasier, especially Lilith. And when I picked up Frasier, the series, obviously I knew Frasier, but I hoped Lilith was going to be in it. Unfortunately, Lilith isn't a major character. She's in it from time to time as a guest spot. I think she did about 13 episodes maybe throughout the run, probably less than that. Which is a shame. I think if they could have had her in it, it would have made it more interesting for me, because I really like those two as a pairing. But there's still some great characters here, and what they actually did was they managed to find an actor in David Hyde Pierce, and a character of Niles that's actually equally, if not better, than Frasier, which is amazing really, considering Frasier is such a good character in himself. I love the kind of neurotic, obsessive behaviour of both of them. Roz kind of is an interesting character. Daphne I was kind of in between on. I do like her though in general. Martin I didn't like at first, but I think really grew on me and it became one of my favourites. One thing though I will say is that I do think, actually there's some spoilers here, so if you haven't seen it, whatever. But so I'll just give you a second. But yeah, well, it doesn't matter. You've probably all seen it. Basically, when they got Niles and Daphne together in the later seasons, I think it kind of killed it for me, almost. I had seasons 8 and 9, and I sold them recently, because they just, when Daphne and Niles got together, it just wasn't interesting anymore. And for me, it just really killed the momentum of the show. And I've heard the 10th season was a return to form, but maybe I'll rent that or something. But for the time being, for me, seasons like 1 to 7 were the best. Season 4 was a great season as well. My favourite episodes of Frasier is probably Author Author, which is season 1, which is this one. Author Author, and The Two Mrs. Cranes is a good one. Ham Radio is a good one. Okay, this is Friends. This is the single edition. This is the last episode. Yeah, Friends in general is one of my favourite shows. Yes, it's kind of cheesy and stuff, but I really do like it, especially the early seasons 1 to like 6 are really good. 7 was shockingly bad. I think 7 and 8 are worse than 9 and 10 by a mile. My favourite character is Ross. I love Ross. I think he's the most consistent throughout. I like Chandler, but I think people kind of coast on what Chandler was like at the beginning and seem to forget that he, personally for me, he kind of, much like Niles and Daphne, I think when Chandler and Monica got together, Monica didn't so much lose something, but Chandler did a lot. He became just really, really stereotypical and just a joke, like a caricature of himself, and or maybe not even that. It wasn't that it was. He did more of the jokey stuff. It's just when the jokey stuff was done, it seemed forced, and he just became really dull, really dull. But I think Ross was consistent throughout. I think he's the best character. Rachel's really good as well for the early seasons. Joey's definitely better in the early seasons. Joey and Phoebe are horrible in the last seasons. They're just terrible, really, really cheesy. But in general, I think this is great. My favourite season is probably either season 1, 2. I'm going to name quite a lot here. I'm looking up at them now. 1, 2. Well, anything really between 1 and 6, to be honest. They're all really, really good. My favourite episode, though, is the one with Ross's new girlfriend, the opening episode of season 2. Really good episode. It's got so many memorable bits that it's not really mentioned, though. It's got the Q-tip joke. It's got the bit where Phoebe cuts Monica's hair. It's got the Taylor joke that, where he goes up his seam with his leg, and then Joey needs to know if that was normal. And then it's got oh god, it's got Rachel. I think it's Jeff Anderson's best performance as Rachel. It's got Rachel acting really jealous over Julie. It's my favourite episode by a mile, actually. It's a really good episode as the opening of season 2. Okay, this one, I went to my mate's house, and my mate Luke went over to his house and he was watching it, and I didn't really take any notice at first, and then I started to watch it in my own time, and it's one of the, it's probably my favourite, it's definitely my favourite situation comedy that's still running, especially live, live audience, live action in front of an audience thing. There's a word for that, I can't think of it right now. And it's The Big Bang Theory, which is about physicists and this girl. It's a pretty basic kind of premise, really. It's kind of, the girl's too attractive for them and that kind of thing. What I really like about it is they don't make them really obsessive. They make Sheldon really obsessive, that's it. They make him, he's the exception to the rule. And the rest of them are pretty normal, really. I mean, Howard's obviously obsessed with sex, even though he's not getting any. And Raj is really good. Raj, especially in the second and third season, Raj really comes into form. But I mean, Sheldon's the poster boy of the series, and he is great. My favourite character is probably Leonard, to be honest, because he's probably the most normal. But Sheldon is amazing. I mean, he's so funny. But I think maybe some of the things are wearing on me about him a little bit. His constant obsessiveness. I think maybe the creators have gone a little bit overboard, and they should focus on other characters a bit more. Characters like Raj, who is really interesting when he's given good episodes, like the one where he gets drunk, or the one where he takes Penny out to a meal and tries it on with her. When they give him really good stuff, it really makes him quite funny. But Sheldon, like what they keep saying about, it's like get over the chair joke now. We get the thing about the chair. Nobody sits in that chair apart from him. Yeah, we get that. Move on. That kind of annoys me. As well as other obsessive things that he does. But in general, he is a great character when you break him down, and he is really interesting and different for most sitcoms. So yes, The Big Bang Theory. My favourite episode of The Big Bang Theory is probably, I really like the one on the train. The one with the World of Warcraft type one is good. Right, next one is Scrubs. That's the last one now. Scrubs is a really interesting show. Like South Park, it evolved quite a bit. It also got shit as well, but it evolved quite a bit. Basically, it starts off, it's very kind of serious in the start. I mean, it's a comedy, but the comedy is kind of few and far between in a sense. The sets as well are really, really dark, and all that kind of stuff. I've been in hospital a few times, and I know what hospitals are like, and I think in terms of depicting a hospital in terms of its interior and all that, the first season was most accurate. It actually felt like a hospital. The rest of it, I think it became a situation where it didn't have to be in a hospital. Really, to be honest, it could have been anywhere. And also, I think I'll just say about the bad things. I hate this because it's called great TV shows, and all I'm doing is dissing things. But I will just say this one diss about. I'll get the bad things about Scrubs out of the way. I think the season 6 and 7 were awful. Season 5 was alright, but I think it just became too much about them. There was really stupid situations that wouldn't happen in a hospital where, well, basically, here's where it comes down to. In season 4, they did an episode where they made fun of four camera sitcoms, which is basically stuff like The Big Bang Theory. They made fun of that, right? And they did this joke where JD says something like, "Quick, everyone," and everyone turned up, right? And he went, "Oh, that was quick," making fun about the fact that most characters all seem to hang out with each other and just there to witness or every situation. Then it became that. Scrubs became that. If you just watch season 6 and 7. They'll go to a patient's room. Dr. Cox will be there, Turt will be there, Elliot will be there, Kelso, who's the bloody owner of the hospital, will be there, and Carla will just all be there, not doing anything, standing around. There'll be moments where Turk is just sitting on the counter of the nurse's desk, JD's there, Elliot's there, they're all just there. It makes no sense. People are busy in hospitals, they're in different situations. And I think in seasons like 1 to 4, they got that, and then they did it again.